everyone from Europe. It's very early there, and good afternoon to those from Asia. My name is Fiona. I'm the marketing for Eurofins AQM. Thank you very much for joining our short briefing webinar on our new services called Workspace Health Solutions for COVID-19. We understand that everyone is really in a big trouble caused by the COVID-19, and with our expertise in training and auditing, we are launching this Workspace Health Solutions for COVID-19. So next slide, speak Francesca. So today we are having two speakers to host this briefing webinar. One is our Senior Environmental Advisor and Training Manager, Francesca, and another is our General Manager, Benoit. So today's webinar is going to be a 30-minute one, consisting of a 20-minute presentation and 10-minute Q&A. You can type your questions anytime in the question box, and we'll address them after the presentation. And also the recording will be shared so you can take it for reference and share with your colleagues or friend or partner if you found them of interest. So without further ado, I will give the time now to Benoit to start with the presentation. Over to you, Benoit.
Yes, thank you, Fiona. Good morning, good afternoon for those in Asia. So today, as Fiona said, that will be a 20-minute webinar, and we will speak about the suite of services we have as a solution for the COVID-19. We will speak about first the online course, then the self-assessment toolbox, and at the end, we will speak about the on-site assessment. Finally, before the Q&A, we will give you all the information about the price, the duration of each service, and the availability geographically and timely speaking. So, Francesca, can you move to the next slide, please? Yes. So we will start by explaining to who these services are made for. So, based on the experience and the pragmatic approach that the Eurofins AQM team have, we decided to build a suite of service to help the factories. So basically, we are addressing the factories and the supplier mainly by three kinds of service: online course through our online platform. Francesca will give more details about that. A self-assessment toolbox. So not only self-assessment questionnaire, but as well some fact sheets and guidelines on the how to use it. And as a parallel to this self-assessment questionnaire, we will be able to go to your premises to make an on-site assessment. All these services are made to get you ready, first to reopen your factories, your workplaces, but as well to make sure to be ready on how to react facing any case of COVID-19. As we all know that we will have to live with it for some months, we need to get ready for that. Can you move to the next slide, please, Francesca? Yeah. So as I was saying, who these services are, or for who these services are made for the factory owner, the responsible factory owners. But I was mainly speaking about the factories owner, the supplier, but as well some brands or retailers are directly contacting us to know if we can help their supplier or their factories to be able to have a safe restart. Can you go to the next? So why Eurofins AQM is providing this kind of services? First, we belong to Eurofins group now. It's a life science testing group. So we had the opportunity to use the expertise from the group. We have mixed it with our comprehensive and pragmatic approach. As I was saying, for more than 13 years already, we are working in factories, doing inspection, doing audit. So we have a very deep understanding of the factory environment, all the constraints that the factory can face. And at the end, we have designed this suite of services to be able to be used with the maximum flexibility. As we told, there are online services, there are self-usage toolbox, and as well some on-site assessment. Francesca, I will let you this mic for the second section.
Yes, thank you, Benoit, for this introduction. So I'm going to introduce the online course. So Eurofins AQM has an online course platform. So it is a website. You can see a screenshot on this slide. So this website for e-learning is very user-friendly, and the advantage is that you can pay online, and so you can access the course immediately. So you can have access to the course as soon at any time, anywhere. And the course, as Benoit will explain at the end of the webinar, will be available next week. So we are working very hard on this project, and we are developing the content, but it should be ready within a week. At the end of this course, you will get a certificate for completion, and I would like to insist on the target for this course. This course is is adapted for the general managers of factories, but has as well the health and safety manager, the team line supervisors, and of course as well for brands and retailers. It is a very good, I would say, reference to have in mind what should be the good practices implemented by the factory. So this is the tool, the website we use to host the course. Now I'm going to better describe what will be the course about. So first of all, based on guidelines from WHO, ILO, Better Work, and more, we have created a standard. So the standard is a kind of code of conduct, as you have code of conduct for social audits. So based on this standard, which is covering key aspects of health and safety measures to protect the workers from COVID, we have developed the training course. So it is more or less an e-learning course of 1 hour, and we are mostly focusing on pragmatic aspect. We definitely want to make it very easy to understand and very clear about how to do the implementation of the measures, because now you can find a lot of guidelines online, you can find a lot of recommendation lists, but we try to transform this information in useful methodologies and example of good practices that can be implemented immediately in the factory. So this is the list of topics covered in the training. So of course, a short introduction about the virus, then a focus on premises disinfection, how to disinfect, where to disinfect, and specific tips and recommendation about this part. Then we will talk about how to adapt the workforce to the need, how to ensure a service continuity, how to, for example, reshape the shift, how to reorganize the shift in the factory. Adapt the factory's layout, of course, to maintain the social distance. The factory entrance protocol for both employees and visitors, of course. Then we will have some topics about the all-day health and cleaning practices in the factory. It means not only there is the premises disinfection, but you need as well to ensure some regular health and safety and cleaning practices during all the day in the factory. We will talk about transportation of goods and materials. We will talk about the crisis plan, what to do in case a worker is or might be infected. We will insist on the employees' awareness and training, and here we definitely want to help factories with ready-to-use material for their own training on site. So we have teams in Bangladesh, in India, and in other production countries, so we will translate the documentation in local language as soon as possible. And then the last two topics will be about governance and key documentation. It means in terms of governance, we will explain that there must be a committee for health and safety for COVID in the factory. And we will explain what are the key procedures that are recommended to have for the factory. And finally, again, I think it's very important for you to have access to the local specific recommendations. So we are collecting the guidelines from, for example, the Indian government or the Bangladeshi associations. So everything will be on the platform. Regarding the expertise, I want to say that, so of course we are always aligned with the international references, but we have as well requested the revision of international health, safety and environmental experts. This is to give you just an insight about what looks like the online course. So I insist a lot on the pragmatic features of this course, and as well we have a chance to have a big experience in the factory, so we will definitely show the pictures and the situations from the factories, and collecting as well good practices from factories that have already reopened. Okay, that's a big asset. You can see as well that we have on this online course, so you will have mainly videos and quiz. So a lot of quiz to help test the knowledge and make sure the learner is acquiring the knowledge needed regarding the COVID health and safety measures. So for example, you have a question like this one with a picture, and you need to answer yes or no. And when you select an answer, you will have immediately an explanation why it is correct or why it is incorrect. Always we will refer to some international reference. This is to give you an example. Okay, what is also part of the package with the online course is the self-assessment and toolbox. We included in our package specific templates and checklists, also fact sheet, and finally the self-assessment checklist. Why do we want to do this? Because we want to help you getting started with the COVID health and safety measures implementation immediately after the course. So it means that first you learn, and then you get the tools that will help you to immediately go for the implementation. Here you have an example of checklist that we propose. So this is an Excel sheet, and the point is for you to have examples of tools ready to use. So for example, about the factory entrance protocol, we made a checklist with the key points that you need to check and see if they are well implemented or not in your factory. Then you have other examples of templates, such as the premises disinfection checklist, the list of employees able to work from home, the daily protection measures checklist, etc. And the fact sheet is a short document to explain more in details how to do a specific operation. For example, what is the process for the temperature check, or what is the process to adapt the factory layout, with an example of case study in a garment factory. So this was the first service, which is online course, self-assessment and toolbox. Now there is a new another service, which is the on-site assessment. So through on-site observation, document checking and other verification system, we will be able to assess if the factory is ready for production reopening on 6 aspects. These 6 aspects of the on-site assessment are, of course, aligned with the self-assessment and the content of the online course, of course. Just a comment, why are we saying observation, document, and other verification system? We want to be careful about the interview, because the interview will be made only if there is the possibility to make the interview and still being aligned with the recommendation of WHO in terms of social distance between the interviewer and the interviewee. Of course, we are paying attention to all of these aspects, and so the on-site assessment will have to take into account all the safety measures, of course. Okay, regarding the chapter of this on-site assessment, the first one, number 1, is readiness for reopening and legal compliance. This means that what are the prerequisites for a factory to reopen? So it must be based on the local regulations, but as well based on, is the factory ready in terms of material to do the disinfection? Did they get the authorization to reopen? Do they know all the guidelines in the country? Is a person appointed to monitor all the legal requirements for reopening amid COVID? The second part, which is infection disease preparedness and response plan, to make it simple, here we are talking about the procedures. We are talking about the action plan, and we will insist that this procedure and action plan is not covering only the factory production site, but as well the dormitories and the transportation of workers. Chapter 3 is about implementation. So this is definitely aligned with all the examples you will get in the online course, okay, about all the measures that needs to be implemented in the factory. The chapter 4, policies and procedures, if an employee is suspected to be infected, this is what we can call as well the crisis plan. So how do the factory react in case an employee might be infected? Is there an isolation room? What is the isolation process? Who should be contacted? And so on. Chapter 5 is about employee awareness and training. So it means that, of course, there is an important communication system that must be implemented in the factory to make sure every employee is aware of what are the COVID-19 symptoms, what to do in case you feel ill, and what are the safety measures to keep in mind all the day in the factory. And finally, the business continuity plan. This is the chapter addressing how to ensure that we are not going to stop the production, how to always keep some arrangements, maybe to reduce the working hours, but still to keep the business continuing. Okay, this is all from my side, so I will, Benoit, let you take over again.
Yeah, thank you, Francesca. So I'm taking over the presentation to speak about the prices and availability. So as you've understood, 3 services: the online course, the self-assessment toolbox, which comes with the online course, and the on-site assessment. So starting for the online course, the price will be $100 per trainee per session. And the duration of each session will be 60 minutes, 1 hour. This training will be available on our platform from the 6th of May. And of course, it's online, so it will be available 24 hours, 7 days a week with the online payment. Everything is secured. That's very easy to use. The self-assessment toolbox, actually, that will be free with the online course. It means that after the completion of the course, you will get a link, a one-time downloadable link in order to be able to download the package. This self-assessment toolbox will be available from May 7th. You will get, of course, if we need to do some update or if there is new document available, then as soon as you have downloaded the package once, you will get all the updates for free. Last but not least, the on-site assessment. So we made a steady price for all the areas in Asia. That will be $400 plus potential out-of-pocket travel expenses. The duration will be 1 day in the factory you will get the reports, the draft reports on the same day, and the final reports the day after, maximum +2, the audit. And the availability for this service will be from May 15. Before letting Fiona to conclude the presentation, I just wanted to let you know that, as I've told at the beginning, we are part of Eurofins live testing group, and we are working hard to see if we can make available some surface COVID-19 testing to be able to provide or to do the swabs during the on-site assessments, and to test if there is any COVID-19 presence in the factories, in the premises. So that testing service is not available yet. It's available in some countries, but now we need to organize the logistic and the training to make this available in all the countries where we operate. Fiona, I'll let you make the conclusion.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Benoit, and also thank you, Francesca, for their presentation. So here comes the question and answer section. We have been collecting a few questions already. So if you still have anything to ask, you can make use of this chance and type your questions. So Francesca, so let's start with the first question. The first question we have is about the on-site assessment. How do the supplier or the factory can make a booking of the on-site assessment?
Yes, Benoit, I can let you answer to this question.
Yes, of course. The booking funnel will be the same as our usual booking funnel for the social, environmental, or technical audit. In each offices, we have an online email address or online bookings through our AQM online platform.
Yeah. And another question is about, will the on-site assessment be compulsory for factory from buyer? So I next, why you also want to take this question? So I think the supplier is asking, will this on-site assessment be a must for factory to be open for the buyer?
Yes, I can take it. I can take this question even if I won't be able to answer precisely yet. What we can see by the questions coming from the buyers or retailers is that they are starting to get interest in this topic of the how the factories, how their supplier will organize themselves to make their worker place safe against the COVID-19, but we don't know yet to which extent they will make it mandatory or not.
Yeah, but I will also add a point on this. So today this webinar is the first one that we are doing for the Asia time zone, and later today we are also doing a second webinar for European time zone group, which there are a lot of buyers and brands from the European side joining. So I guess the buyer side, they are also showing high interest in this. So after the second webinar today, we will have a better idea on their stance and how they view this as well.
Yeah, maybe I can add just to the last question that these services have been designed to help the factories, and the main purpose of these services is the business continuity. So I think these services have to be seen not as a mandatory things to do, but as a useful and I would say a kind of investment to make sure that if you reopen the factories, then the factory will keep open on a long term, and we won't face any closing measures after that.
Yes, thank you, Benoit. And the next question we have is about the languages of the courses. So maybe I let Francesca to take these questions.
Yes, Fiona. Regarding the language of the course, so as on May 6th, the online course will be available in English. And just after, we will start translating the training material to start in Bengali and then in other languages based as well on maybe the request and the reaction we have from the interested people. But yes, we have a plan to translate the course as soon as we finish and release the English version next week.
Thank you, Francesca. And the next question we have is about the COVID-19 testing. So I think Benoit has mentioned that since Eurofins is a large group and one of the leader in the food and biopharma and medical testing, so we have a suite of COVID-19 testing available as well. So since there are so many that we won't be able to link one by one, and some of them are indeed too difficult for us to explain, I'm pasting the link to all the participants that you can see the testing available by Eurofins. I believe we may be interested in the testing as well. And we also offer the medical testing, medical PPE testing that people are asking about a lot about, like the medical mask, the hand sanitizer, and the medical gowns. So I encourage you to visit the website that I have just pasted in the chat box, and you can take a look and come to us if you need any help on this. And so I think we can take our last question. So maybe Francesca, do we want to answer the questions about the document check? Francesca?
Yes, I'm looking at the question now. Okay, yes, indeed. There is a question about the document checklist. It's available free of cost. So what we will be providing, as I said, in the free toolbox is the self-assessment, which is a questionnaire, and you will have as well other checklists provided with the online course. So yes, probably you will have access to the, at the end, if you attend the online course and you see the different documentation, fact sheets and checklists provided, you should at the end understand what are all the documents you have to prepare.
Thank you, Francesca. So Benoit, I have seen a few questions. We have seen a few questions asking about the service availability in China. So do you want to also address this?
Yes, of course. The service can be used, of course, by the Chinese factory, but as China has been hit before the other countries and have started to recover before the others, we see at the moment less demand coming from China compared to the other countries. But of course, even if we see less demand coming from China, that the service could be available in China as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah. So at the moment, we are focusing on the non-Chinese speaking country outside China. But if there is demand in China, so we'll be happy to offer this as well. We can arrange ourselves to follow with you separately after the webinar and see how we can cater to your demand. So I think these have pretty much covered all the questions that we are going to take, and for a few others that we are unable to answer in this webinar because of the time, we will follow up separately by email or by phone. So I think we can go to next slide, Francesca. So thank you very much for your time, everyone. So in case you have more questions, you can see our email here. It's productassurance@eurofins.com. If you have any questions, you can reach us anytime, or you can also reach the sales representative of Eurofins AQM or Eurofins Consumer Product Testing anytime. And as Benoit has mentioned earlier, since that Eurofins is one of the leaders in the food, biopharma, and medical testing and medicines testing in the world, we also offer a wide range of services to fight against the COVID-19. So I've pasted the link already in the chat box. So there are a lot of services like the medical mask, the medical that I have mentioned already, and there are also service testing and vaccine testing and some other tests that please pardon me that I'm not able to explain very well here, but I'm sure you can get a lot of get a lot out of this website. And as said, we will follow up the unanswered question by email. And we look forward to seeing you there at the online website on online learning course when it's ready, starting from next Tuesday. If no more questions, then I will put an end to the webinar, and I hope all of you have a great day ahead and stay safe as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for your time, and take care. Goodbye.